December rolls in and shelves go empty fast. The so-called experts said one thing, but when real money was on the counter, buyers picked something else. I watched people line up before sunrise, chasing rumors and grabbing anything that wasn't already gone. One guy told me he waited 3 weeks for a gun the internet said was always in stock. He left empty-handed. Every brand's marketing machine tried to push their favorites, but that's not what filled the bags this year. If you're wondering what actually moved, what buyers fought over, and dealers hid behind the counter for their best customers, this is it. Forget hype, forget what the blog said. Some models you'd expect to top the charts vanished in hours. Others sat ignored week after week until the price tags turned yellow. So what did America truly trust their cash with in 2025? Well, you're about to find out, but don't expect the answers to feel safe. I've got the final Q4 sales report right here on the desk, so let's look at the numbers. Saw more Hellcats leave shelves this year than any micro compact I've tracked since 2019. Doesn't matter if you're in Dallas, Detroit, or somewhere nobody's ever heard of. Every market report put the Hellcat in the top 5 for carry pistols, sometimes even above Glock's latest. Why? Nobody gives a straight answer. Some say it's the grip texture, some say it's the same, but I've watched first-timers, old-timers, and serial flippers all grab one just in case the price jumps again. But there's something nobody's talking about. I heard from a comp buddy of mine, real quiet type, who got a memo from his department. Turn your Hellcat in, no questions asked. No press release, no block coverage, just a quiet recall for insiders handled off the books. He swapped his, didn't even tell his wife about it. And if that's true, it's the only pistol on this list to hit #1 in sales while quietly running damage control behind the scenes. Walk into a shop today, ask for a Hellcat, you'll either get a knowing smirk or a shrug. Most brokers keep one stashed for VIPs and not walk-ins. Bestseller? Maybe. Or maybe it's just the gun everybody's afraid to talk about. You don't see VP9 stacking up on the discount rack. This year, market trackers claimed VP9 sales actually spiked past the Glock 19 in 2 states just for a few wild weeks. Then, as fast as the surge started, it flatlined. Nobody's got a clean answer. A leaked dealer poll swears nearly a third of buyers try to trade up within 6 months, but you won't see HK admitting that in public. There's something else too. I was talking with a shop owner, old school, been there forever. He leaned in and said, "People think they want this, but they always come back looking for that." When I asked which one, he just smiled and rang up another VP9 for the next guy in line. Still, you've got a crew at every range who won't touch anything else. They say the VP9's the last real shooter left, but they all keep one eye on the resale case like they know something's coming. Whispers are already starting for 2026. New model? Quiet discontinuation? The only sure thing is nobody's giving straight answers, and that's why the VP9 still sells. But if you think that was strange, wait till you see what the market did with the next one. This is the pistol everyone thought would flop until a single headline sent buyers into a frenzy and not even dealers saw it coming. I'll be honest, I never thought I'd see Canik make a list like this. Dealers barely stocked them 5 years ago, and every serious shooter laughed off Turkish guns. But when the big brands started running dry, something flipped. According to 2 regional sales dashboards, the TP9 Elite SC outsold the Glock 43 for 3 months straight in the Midwest. Nobody saw that coming, least of all the old guard. I heard about a quiet recall in Europe. Bad batch, faulty firing pins, never made US headlines, but the rumors set flippers on a gold rush. Suddenly, everyone wanted pre-recall serials and prices spiked $200 overnight in some states. Some say dealers held the last cases back for regulars selling them under the table for cash. Canik denied everything, but nobody was buying the denials. Even now, the TP9 Elite SC is the gun that gets bought, carried, and quietly sold again in the same month, trusted by nobody except the buyers who already made their money. Next up, the only thing weirder than a Turkish pistol outselling Glock is how fast the market turned on the next one. Nobody expected the Glock 43X MOS to move like this. For years, it sat just outside the hype, always someone's second choice. But then the panic hit. Shop shelves emptied, merchants started rationing, and suddenly this Glock was all anyone wanted. I saw a chart in May that showed the 43X MOS outsold every other micro compact in 3 states. Never happened before. Still can't prove it happened again. But the wildest story came out of a small city up north. The local police department couldn't get new issue pistols fast enough. Instead of waiting, they started buying back Glock 43X MOS pistols from private owners, cash on the spot, no questions asked. A buddy said he walked in with a used one and walked out with more than he paid new. They needed them for recruits. Supply chain was busted. Nobody at Glock Corporate ever admitted a thing. People who got paid off bought up the next shipment before the cops even got a list. No law, no recall, just a market flip nobody will ever document. One model that made even the police chase the public. That's why the 43X MOS doesn't last on shelves. The Bodyguard 380 refuses to die. Just when you think it's finally faded off the market report, some new panic or law change pushes it straight back to the top. Only in America, right? This is the gun you buy when you want something cheap, small, and forgettable, yet somehow it outsold pricier big names in half the country last quarter. Nobody brags about buying one, but they're never left in the case for long. Had a friend try to trade his Bodyguard in, shop wouldn't even make an offer. They said, give it a week, you'll want it back after the next headline. And sure enough, they were right. A few days later, he came crawling back, cash in hand, asking for another. And then there was a guy who wanted 6 of these things. I laughed. He said, if one's good, 6 means I'm never left without one. That's the kind of logic only the cheesiest Americans could love, but believe it or not, he wasn't the only one. You can call it panic, tradition, or just plain weird, but if you think this is peak cheesy, the next pick will make you question if anyone even reads the specs anymore. Up to this point, everything on this list sold because of fear, timing, or secrecy. The next one sold for a worse reason. People stopped caring if it hurt. Didn't work for me at first. Jammed right out of the box, left my hands sore, and nearly made me swear off Taurus for good. Got it sorted eventually. Never trusted it fully, but by then, it barely mattered. Taurus was already printing cash with the G3c. Every time I stopped by a shop in my area, the answer was the same. Nope. All gone. Maybe next week. If you spot one in the case, you'd better not blink or someone else is walking out with it. Dealer conversations got interesting fast. 3 different shops admitted they moved the G3c faster than any other compact. One hinted that regulars get first dibs. He keeps them off the floor, under the counter, just for the folks who know how to ask. That's not policy, that's pure market reality. Then there's the wild batch rumors. Some claim a whole shipment vanished and came back with new serials. Others say you'll get a perfect shooter or a lemon, no middle ground, and nobody at Taurus ever comments. Local sales dashboards show the G3c outsold the next 3 compacts combined in 2 states. Hype? Maybe. Miss your shot and you'll never know. Last weekend, I was out shooting at a little spot outside Cisco, Texas, the kind of range where folks show up in mud-caked trucks, not fancy imports. Lately, you can't swing a cleaning rod without seeing somebody loading up a Sig X macro. Everyone's got a story about how they beat the waiting list or scored a deal before prices spiked. Dealers around here say the X macro's already outselling last year's compact favorites and it's only gaining steam. You can't imagine. After some digging, I did a little market analysis and found something surprising. Early buyers were flipping X macros for 5, even 10 times retail. One guy claims he paid off most of his trucks selling them at the peak. Is that hype or just smart timing? All I know is I haven't seen a used macro sit in a Texas shop since spring, and every dealer keeps a waiting list. If Sig really drops another model soon, today's buyers could look like geniuses or the ones who cashed out too soon. And if you thought that was wild, wait until you see how deep the next pistol digs into the cheap but dangerous trend. A guy I shoot with swore by his old Glock, wouldn't shut up about it until he bought a dagger. Never heard him rave, never saw a single brag post, but damn if that thing didn't show up on his hip every damn weekend after that. That's a different kind of trust, silent and way more convincing than any internet review. And hell, can you blame him? PSA priced the dagger so low, shops couldn't keep them in stock. Even flippers were muscling in, grabbing every box before the regulars got a shot. I watched dagger prices spike $200 in a weekend, then act like nothing happened come Monday. Still, nobody's seen a dagger sitting in a case for more than an hour all year. Some firearm vendors in Austin are known for running theirs hard and never looking back. Others quietly swapped it out after a few hundred rounds. No drama, just a new carry. Maybe that's the dagger's real legacy. Makes Glock guys switch, makes shops rich, and leaves everyone else guessing what the hell just happened. But just when you think price is everything, the next pistol on this list proves there's still one thing money can't buy. Walked into a pawn shop on this Black Friday. Everything else was gone by noon, except for the Ruger RXM sitting lonely in the case like nobody even wanted to touch it. Didn't sound impressive until the owner said he just ran out of tags before he could mark it up. That's the kind of market moment you can't plan for, and the kind of gun that sneaks up on every stat sheet. A week later, I saw it with my own eyes. Every RXM in town was gone. I watched the first shipment vanish before lunch, no matter what the price tag said. Dealers didn't even have to move them. One guy I know offered me cash over retail for my barely used RXM, swore he hadn't seen a single used one hit the shelf all year. That's not rumor, that's proof. People argue whether the RXM eats everything or is picky as hell. Doesn't matter. When they disappear that fast, the market's speaking loud and clear. And if you think scarcity and hype are all that matter, just wait till you see what survived every trend to land at number 1. Didn't buy the hype when the PDP first dropped. Figured it'd be another Euro pistol getting overhyped on forums, but ignored at the range. But this year, everything flipped. Market charts in my area showed the PDP outselling every other full-size 9, not just for a month, but straight through the whole damn year. I watched 3 guys get turned away before noon on a random Tuesday, all wanting the same thing. But the weirdest proof? It's not what's on the table, it's what's hidden in the drawers. You'd expect to see Glocks or Sigs at every range day, but I lost count of how many off-duty cons quietly pulled out a PDP from their bags, never making a show of it. That's not hype, that's hidden trust. The kind you don't see until you look in the right places. The market is asking more for used PDPs than new just because nobody trades them in. Even the brand snobs are carrying Walther now. Folks say it's perfect, but perfectionism's just a myth. Every time I think the market's cooling, another wave hits and the shelves go empty again. Number 1 this year, but if you're waiting for a deal, you might already be too late. Most people would have clicked away by now, and that's fine, because they're about to miss the weirdest sales spikes of the year. Did you think I'd forget about your favorite pistol, the one you've been waiting for? Not a chance. If anything, The Smith & Wesson M&P9 Shield Plus is the shock buy of the year. Nobody, myself included, had this thing on their radar last month. Then I pulled up the Friday market analysis and almost dropped my coffee. Thursday, barely a blip. By Saturday, sales had spiked nearly 300%, pushing it past some of the biggest names in the game. Forums went nuts overnight, flooded with Shield Plus photos like there was a secret memo sent out to every carry gunner in America. I ran my own numbers twice just to be sure. The Shield Plus moved from afterthought to must-have in less than 48 hours. Nobody can explain why, and that's exactly how the best market wins happen. It wasn't supposed to be a hit, but sometimes the market makes its own rules, and if you weren't paying attention, you missed your chance. Nobody was looking at the Shadow 2 back in January, and now I'm seeing grown men sprint across gravel for a shot at one before the match bell rings. Competition shooters flipped the market this year. Forget Instagram guns, they want what wins, and every chart I pulled up says Shadow 2 demand hit a 5-year high by spring. I shot with a guy who nearly threw out his old favorite after borrowing a Shadow 2 for one match. That's the kind of switch you don't see unless a pistol's really delivering. And the wild part? It's not just for trophy hunters anymore. Even casual shooters are saving up just to have bragging rights at the next club night. There's a little snag though. I started seeing fresh rust on the latest batch after 2 rainy weekends. Maybe it's nothing, or maybe the factory's getting cheap on the finish. All-timers grumble, but nobody stopped running their Shadow 2s just yet. It's still the only gun out the range that gets more respect than complaints. You would think hype would finally die after the V-Series dropped and Glock pulled the plug on the original Gen 5, but here's the kicker, it didn't, not even close. Every time I check the market reports, the Gen 5 is still moving, still making noise, and still getting snatched up by shooters who refuse to upgrade. Word is, after the official discontinuation, over 10,000 Gen 5s sold in Texas alone, north and south. That's not old inventory. Those are buyers going out of their way just to get what everyone else calls yesterday's model. Nobody's selling, but everyone's still buying. Walk into a Texas pawn shop and ask about the Gen 5. You'll either get a laugh or a wait list. Some say it's pure nostalgia, a memory buy for the guys who never trusted anything newer. Others claim the Gen 5 still runs circles around the latest and greatest. Why is it still a bestseller? Maybe it's the comfort of the familiar, or maybe shooters just know something the market's trying to forget. Either way, the Gen 5 legacy isn't going anywhere. Next up, one last wild card that even caught the market off guard. There's always one gun that gets tagged operator approved by the internet, but the effing 509 Tactical actually lives up to it. Every time tactical shooters in my circle want something for suppressors, optics, or just showing off, this is the model that keeps landing on the table. Doesn't matter if you're running night sights or threaded barrels. effing built this thing to flex, and the market noticed. Sales had spiked this year, especially after a wave of training videos started hitting social. It's the only pistol I've seen get bulk bought by both serious shooters and wannabe operators in the same week. But here's the kind of problem nobody talks about in public. Watch out for frame cracks. I've seen 2 already this year, both on pistols that barely cleared 1,000 rounds. Nobody's starting forum wars over it, but those cracks don't lie. Maybe it's a bad batch, maybe just bad luck, but if the 509 wants to stay king of tactical, effing's gotta get ahead of it. Still, as a last pick, this is the one pistol everyone wishes they'd bought before prices jumped. Markets never rest. Next year's winners are already taking shape, and those can't-miss guns might be tomorrow's forgotten models. I've seen bestsellers from last January gathering dust in December. Meanwhile, the most doubted pistols are suddenly nowhere to be found. If you scored one of this year's top sellers, count yourself lucky or just early to the storm. Missed out? You're not the only one. This list isn't about what should have sold, it's about what did and what might never show up again. Drop your story below. Did you get burned or did you call the market before anyone else? Only one thing is certain: comfort is a trap. Stay sharp, stay restless. I'm Steve, and by the time you feel safe, the market's already moved.